This PSG team, I will go out on a limb here and say, is the next legacy team. This team is going to be exactly what Barcelona was. All you needed was a good plan, incredibly talented and motivated players with ambition and the freedom to express themselves. Nobody wants to leave PSG right now. They want to stay. All right, here we go. Here I am back at work. As always, that's my Sirius XM cup. If you didn't know that, they rebranded. And that's the dog. That's the dog from Sirius XM. This is not Sirius XM. This is Unleashed. I'm Eric Wynalda, and you can find us on GOLZ TV if you already are viewing this. Then you probably have already found us. YouTube, of course. Really enjoying all the interaction. I got to say that the engagement has been off the hook. Our numbers are growing exponentially, and that just makes this whole process really cool. A lot of big things coming up. Over the summer, we're going to be talking about the U.S. national team. They've got a couple of friendlies. They got the Gold Cup. The World Club Cup Club World Cup is coming as well. There's a lot of things to talk about on that slate, but not today. Today is a different day. Got to talk about the Champions League and what just happened. If you missed it, you blinked. 5-0 PSG and Luis Enrique's crew wins the treble, beats Inter Milan, and it's got a lot of people shaking their head. Inter Milan is a very good team. How does this happen? The biggest defeat that we've ever seen in a Champions League final, and it was one hell of a game. Breaking it down for everybody has been something that has been happening over the course of the last week because a lot of people are asking a lot of questions. But let's really get to the realities of what just happened and who just did it. Luis Enrique, if you're unfamiliar with his story, it's pretty amazing. He lost his daughter, Jana, to bone cancer. And the last time that he won a Champions League as a coach, his daughter was the one that staked the flag in the middle of that field. Unfortunately, she passes away after. And if you saw the reaction of the final whistle and the T-shirts and the banners and the tifos that the fans made, they were actually spectacular. It was really hard not to root for Luis Enrique after everything that this man has been through. And if you don't know the story and you don't know how open he is in talking about it, the best answer that I saw out of him after the game was over, they asked about his daughter, and are you thinking about her right now? And he says, I don't need to win the Champions League to think about my daughter. Good job, Dad. Also, Luis Enrique, I just wanted to let you know, you've got me on a diet because apparently that's what a 55-year-old man is supposed to look like. When you took your shirt off and I saw myself the next day in the mirror, I'm on a diet, dude. Not only are you fit, you're a great leader and a winner, but you look good, man. You look really good. So thank you for reminding me that I don't, and I'm going to fix that. But the game itself, the mentality of the group, the overall philosophy of what has happened in PSG is pretty remarkable. PSG, and we all know about the money, okay? And we're not going to get into that today. There's a lot of people who say, well, they bought this trophy. Well, then why weren't they able to win it before? They had Messi. They had Neymar. They had Mbappe. They had guys like Thiago Silva. They had Zlatan. They would win their domestic cup, but they would never win the big trophy. This year, they took out 4 EPL teams and Inter Milan. Basically, it's not a farmers' league, which it has been called on numerous occasions, and Luis Enrique reminded us of that after he walked away with the trophy. But what actually happened is probably a trend that most people are looking at and trying to figure out, okay, how in the hell did he do that? He did that with unbelievably talented players. This club, this unbelievable club with all the resources and all the money in the world, used to buy the superstar. What they would do is they'd buy the player that they knew was good. They knew that this player was great. What they did in this occasion is they bought the players that they hoped could be great. With the right guidance, with the right manager, and the right setup, they've just proven that. Go look at the numbers. These are 19-year-old kids scoring in a Champions League final. João Neves, Vitinha, Desiree Doué, Dembele. Dembele's a little older now. He might even walk away with a Ballon d'Or after this is finished. There's such a wonderful story there. Even Marquinhos, who is the elder statesman on this team, 30 years. I think he's been there for 12, and he finally gets to lift the trophy. But they did it in a different way. And what does it remind you of? It should remind you of the first time that we were introduced to Barcelona. with Iniesta and Xavi and Messi. And you could even throw Pedro into that, Busquets, Jordi Alba, Alves. They were young when they started, and they were amazing. And they ended up being, in my opinion, one of the only dynasties that we've ever seen in world football. This might be the case with PSG. We're looking at a team that did it with unbelievably talented young players who aren't looking for an exit. Look how the exit worked for Mbappe. A lot of people said the best player in the world. He watched Real Madrid win the Champions League, and he said, you know what? I want to be a part of that. I'll never win it here. He departs. He goes to Real Madrid. They get knocked out of the tournament, and the team that he just came from wins it all. This is screaming a better plan works. This is screaming that money doesn't always buy you trophies. You got to get it right. And age isn't really the factor. We could talk about Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal almost made it to this competition. He just boasted yesterday that said, if you guys want to decide the Ballon d'Or, let's do it tomorrow when Spain plays France. How about that one? I mean, I love it because he's young and I don't want to call him arrogant. He just knows he's good. It's okay to be confident. But if you look at this PSG team and look at what they accomplished and look at the way that they bossed the game against players like Shononolu and Mkhitaryan, right? Getting up there in age, they couldn't even find the ball. It was like chasing a marble. They had no chance in this game. They never had a chance. And to me, I felt like we were witnessing something that, one, we should never forget, but I hope people see the blueprint here. If we talk about development and we talk about young players coming into their own, and whether we're impatient or patient with that process, the reality is there's no such thing as a young player and an old player. There's just good players and bad players. And sometimes greatness shows itself on a stage that we just did not expect. This PSG team, I will go out on a limb here and say, is the next legacy team. This team is going to be exactly what Barcelona was. And the irony of that is Luis Enrique, he kind of played with the guy that structured that beginning in Pep Guardiola. Now, is he a different coach? Absolutely. Pep Guardiola was all about possession, manipulating the ball, manipulating the opponent, and having so many talented players that were technically capable of doing a 1-2 in a phone booth that you could end up beating anybody on your technical ability. And having Messi in your team didn't hurt, okay? Let's face it. That group of talented players accomplished great things with great leaders, with Puyol and Piqué. Well, I don't know, not so much Piqué. Puyol is a leader. But the bottom line is there's a lot of similarities between a young Barcelona of 14 years ago and what we just saw. This is going to be something. Pay attention. One of the things that they tried to do for so many years is to get you to pay attention to PSG. We're not a farmers league. Look, we've got Messi. We've got Neymar. We've got Mbappe. You didn't need them. All you needed was a good plan, incredibly talented and motivated players with ambition and the freedom to express themselves. And that's what happens when you do it right. Luis Enrique, I tip my hat to you. I'll check in with you in about a month about the diet thing. I've already lost like 8 pounds since I saw you take your shirt off. So thank you for that. Let's see how it goes. But continue this. The greatest part about this is nobody wants to leave PSG right now. They want to stay. They want to be a part of the next chapter. And trust me, it's coming.